Welcome to the Football Show here on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel, Monday to Friday. It's absolutely free, 4 o'clock it's live, but of course you can watch it at your leisure at any time. Not only on your main TV screen, but you can get it on your phone and your tablet as well. If you download the app, you've got all the breaking news at your fingertips as well from all the reporters covering all the key games in Scotland. And we've got the news right across the board from UK and European football as well. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And the good news is, if you want to join us in PLZ Premium, there's some big interviews coming up over the next 2 weeks that you'll get exclusive access to. And we also have prize giveaways, competitions, lots to look forward to in PLZ Premium as well. So with that in mind, if you do actually subscribe to PLZ Premium, you're in the hat with a chance to win a trip to the Champions League final in Budapest at the Puskás Arena. You and a partner, flights and accommodation as well. Well worth getting involved and staying with us over the course of the season. So with that in mind as well, can I just say that it's great news that we've partnered up with Maggie's Cancer Charity as our official partner. All you have to do is go to www.maggies.org to find out all the great work they do to help families affected by cancer. It really is heartwarming to see the great work that goes in there and all the help they provide. And we are delighted we've got them as our official charity for the full season. So, lots to talk about. Scottish Premiership over Saturday and Sunday. But more importantly, to last night, Rangers 0, Genk 1, 37,000 there, 13,000 empty seats roughly. Rangers fans still not happy with Russell Martin, and the poor form goes on. Yeah,
it looks as if it's not going to go away either. Obviously that was evident last night, the empty seats. Again, another defeat, that even though they got a player sent off, I think in the second half, I thought Genk were the better of the two sides. Top man on the park was Jack Butland, making the saves at the right time. So no, I don't think I have any complaints about the result last night, but it is a worrying time, obviously, for the supporters. They have got some games up. You would expect them to win, but they've still got to go out and do it.
Were you surprised that they chose Jarmitia ahead of Miovski?
Yes and no. I know they've got a big game coming up at the weekend. Livingston away, and Jarmitia needs games. He needs to show that he's what he's about. Paying £9 million for a striker, you've got to play him. So I thought first half he was poor. I thought second half he came onto a game. He looked more lively second half, and showed at least a bit. But I think that the result was fair. I think that Genk were the better team. I know the red card, which we'll talk about, kind of killed Rangers at the time. But I think when you look at the way the team started, if Old his shooting boots on, early doors he had a couple of great chances, he missed them as well. And I think, I gave him a bit of stick at half time. I think you gave him a bit of stick, and then he pops up about 2 minutes later and scores.
Yeah.
But he could have had a hat trick on the night. So I think that Genk deserved to win the game. Rangers supporters coming away for that. Are you seeing progress in your team? Are you seeing progress in the manager? No, for me.
Yeah. Penalty, Rangers, should they have had one?
With Tavernier?
Yeah.
No, I thought there was a slight push in the back.
Just enough of a touch that put him off?
Well, he touched him. There's no doubt about that. He touched him. If you touch him,
I think that's soft, Ruffy.
It might be soft, but it's still.
Yeah.
It's not like the two of them are going up together. To get a header. The guy gets his back to the goal. And Tavernier he uses it to his advantage. There's no doubt. But if you asked him, he said, "Yeah, give him a wee push." And then I went and headed the ball. So, but if you look at the boy, he's saying, "Look, he pushed me." And VAR looked at it, didn't they?
Yeah, and I thought it would have been a soft penalty had they got it, put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, he's headed it against his hand. There's debate on where it hit him in his hand. I thought it was quite high up as well.
Yeah.
So
can you really give penalties for that, Ruffy? No, I mean, he doesn't even know where he doesn't even see the ball behind him.
No, exactly. It's getting ridiculous now that we're seeing it as well. But it's getting so bad now that you've actually players shouting for it. You get players actually shouting for things that are nowhere near worthy of a penalty kick.
Do they need to bring deliberate back in, Peter?
Oh,
well, I heard that.
So easy.
Deliberate, because last night, if it wasn't a push, it's a penalty because he heads it. It comes off his hand and it's on target.
Yeah.
And the criteria is, if that happens, it's a penalty kick. So they need to bring in deliberate, as in, well, he deliberately handballed it or he deliberately put his hand there.
Yeah.
To bring that back in.
I would like to see that, but then again, it opens up another level of interpretation on it. But I do think there needs to be something that gives the. I also think you need to get to the decision quicker. You need to look at it and say, okay, is there a push? Right, that's it. Quickly get it. The whole thing takes too long, and you know what? We're becoming so accustomed to it now. We're actually tolerating the delay in these things. Now, I don't expect you, unless you're going to tell me differently, dear Monday, Red?
Oh, Stonewall red card, Peter. A ridiculous tackle at that point in the game. Guy's going nowhere on the touchline. He gets away with it at times in Scotland. I thought last week against Hibs he had 5-6 fouls before he eventually get booked. But obviously not that type of challenge, but he does. There's a lot of fouls at times with Diamande, but that one last night is a clear red card. He comes over the top, catches him high, and that kills Rangers at a time just before half time where they're in the game, and they've got to try and reshuffle the pack. But somebody needs to have a word with him, I think, at Rangers and just say, listen, you need to calm down with the tackles, because that's a dangerous lunge, and it kills the team and the manager.
Yeah, the manager, Russell Martin, certainly thought it had a major effect on the outcome of the game.
Have a bit of perspective on tonight and how difficult it was after the red card. Because whether you like it or not, it changes a lot when you're down to 10 men for so long in a game, in a European tie. So learn from it, especially the first half, where we hurt ourselves a little bit and got trapped too much. And then get ready to prepare and perform and win on Sunday. Don't think a game tonight where we're down for 10 men that long changes things a huge amount in terms of that. So I feel nothing but support from them.
I mean, we've got to look at it and be fair to him on the 10 men. I think he deserves, some kind of leeway on that. But you have to look at when there was 11 men on the park, and then look at overall. Are the Rangers fans? Tam clearly has made his point clear. Are the Rangers fans seeing enough of a style and enough of the team that he's trying to put together that suggests they could go on a long run, Ruffy? Because as I look at their run of games, there are 3 of them away: Livingston, Sturm Graz, Falkirk, before they're at home to Dundee United. So, there can be no slip-ups.
No, there can't. I think he knows that, and I think the players know that. I think they're so wide open. I think last night was very evident. There was large gaps in the defence. The fullbacks don't help the 2 centre-halves. They're still charging forward and leaving gaps all over the place. So, no, I know they wanted to win the game when they went down to 10 men, but I think he would have come out with more credit if they'd sorted their soul out not to get beat. If they defended properly, and said, right, okay, we're down to 10 men, this team are creating chances, let's just make sure we get nothing each, make sure we don't get beat here, but he never did that.
Ruffy, I don't know a team in history who doesn't practice at training down to 10 men. Am I right?
Do it all the time, Peter. I remember the first time I encountered it was Tony Mowbray at Hibs when he first came in, and we would always do 11 aside. When that was Alec McLeish, Bobby Wilmston, it was always 11v11. And one day he says, thankfully it wasn't me, he said one of the players, just going to stand off for 5 minutes. We'll play 10v11. The team with 10 is 1-0 up, and 11's got to break them down.
Yeah. And
we've done it all the time, Peter. It would be 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, so you knew how to play against a man advantage, 2 men advantage. So you're right, it happens all the time in training. Teams do it all the time and practice it. So I agree with Ruffy, they had to get tight in, try and play for a 0-0. But they were so open. Magoma, the left back as well, wide open, ball inside him all the time. Tavernier for the goal, he's too wide, ball gets played, goal gets through and scores. So, yeah, I think defensively Rangers still look very, very poor at the back. The full-back areas, they're not tight, they don't play as a tight 4 period. When they get the ball, they go wide, the 2 full-backs go wide, and when they lose the ball, they don't get in quick enough tight, and that's where they're getting caught out.
The defence is poor when the star man's the goalkeeper. He's making too many saves. Yeah. They're cutting through them far, far too easy, and he's having to work overtime.
Even Jack Butland admitted that it's getting very difficult to try and build momentum. And we'll come back to that Rangers goalkeeper. But nevertheless, that's exactly what he was mentioning, was an opportunity missed, because off the back of the Hibs result, you're trying to lift the ground very quickly. It's almost nigh on impossible to lift the ground and the momentum when they're against the manager, and you see at one point and you hear at one point, you could have heard a pin drop at one point. It's almost apathetic.
Yeah, I just think a lot of the Rangers supporters are kind of over it now in terms of Russell Martin. They just want him out the door. They don't really care about the result. They just want him out. They want to change a manager, Peter. And how many times have we seen Rangers European nights, Europa League nights, that place is bouncing? You know, the run they went to and got to the final. You know, there was teams coming and they were getting blown away. You know, Borussia Dortmund, Leipzig, teams like that, Red Star Belgrade. And last night, you're right, there was no atmosphere. And the atmosphere, you know, lifts the Scottish clubs, particularly at home. Celtic Rangers are known for their home atmosphere in European games. And last night, Genk would have came expecting that to be raucous and intimidating. And after 5-6 minutes, you could hear a pin drop and they just went on about their business.
As far as the goal that finished them, I was actually going to double down on my tweet last night because he's hopeless.
I think he's hopeless. I think you're a wee bit harsh. He's hopeless.
No, he's listen.
First half, he was
Come
hopeless.
on.
He was hopeless first half. He should have had a hat trick the first half.
Yeah.
The penalty miss, you know, the one that gets squared across to him. You know, he's got to score that. But to be fair to him, he took his goal well, Peter. You know, he good movement, kept himself onside, gets through, and tucks it away past the goalkeeper in an exuberant celebration. So you see how much it meant to him. Obviously, being an ex-Celtic player coming back and coming to Ibrox, he wanted to do well. Maybe he was trying too hard the first half, but I think in terms of his movement and his goal, you can see he's got something. But you know, first half, you know, but for his misses and the penalty miss, the game would have been buried.
Yeah, it was a dream come true for O to get that goal.
I miss sometimes this weather or English cultures. Yeah, something different. Yeah, something special for me. And play in Ibrox. Yeah, so this is one of my was dream to score in this Ibrox. Yeah, so I did. I'm happy.
Yeah, he was so happy. I thought he was going to take his shorts and his pants off as well. He was just throwing everything out. But nevertheless, anyone who was going to pay 28 million euros for him, Ruffy, needs their head looked.
Yeah, I think he maybe falls into the Dessers category. Scores goals but misses a lot.
He's not in the same category.
No,
as Dessers.
what I mean is...
Dessers a goal scorer.
Yeah, but what I mean is he gets criticised as well for the ones that he should score. And last night he should have scored 2 or 3. That's what kind of striker he seems to be. You could see that when he was at Celtic as well. He wasn't prolific. He might get 1 or 2 here and there, but fair dude. I mean, he seemed to be enjoying it.
By the way, can you imagine that?
Don't worry, O is not listening. You can actually slaughter him and have an opinion on him.
No, I think Tom's right. You know, he took his goal well.
Yeah.
Took his goal very well.
28 million
imagine
euros.
How much?
28 million
No
euros.
chance.
Can you imagine that get called back for VAR after he took his top off, his GPS,
I actually
everything? Because I thought it was quite tight for the offside.
I
and
thought
I'm
it was
thinking-
offside.
And I seen the replay, I went, he's going to a right fool here if this gets brought back after he's took all his stuff off.
By the way, can I just say I thought the penalty against Rangers was harsh. The clip on there.
I thought it was a penalty, Peter.
Did you?
I think because he's caught wrong side, boys away from him, and I thought it was the wee tug at the start. But
You think so?
But
The tug?
you can see him just clips his heels,
Yeah.
Peter, and brings him down. I thought it was a good call.
What about the stats? This is Russell Martin's stats. It's not good reading for anyone on this. Rangers record, 14 games, 4 wins, 5 draws, 5 losses, goals scored 17, goals conceded 20, and they've managed just 14 shots on target in the last 5 games, Ruffy.
It's not good, is it? It's not good. It's not good if you're a Rangers manager and everything that comes with playing, being the manager or being a player. That's not the stats that the supporters want to see. And as long as these stats keep getting thrown up there, they'll get worse, obviously. And somebody will have to make a shout somewhere. I'm really, if it continues the way it was, I'm surprised if the manager himself doesn't just hold his hands up and say, look, pay me up my 3 year or something and let me go away for this.
Can you tell me which clubs in the past? I'll kind of broaden it out for you. Can you tell me which club in the last 150 years has said, you know what, I think we're going to pay you up because you've offered that?
No, I'm not. No, I know that, but you know what I mean. They do get paid up. You know, if it's not happening,
No, they get sacked.
well, they get sacked, but they still get paid up.
Yeah.
I think if you get 2 years left in his contract, I'm sure his agent will come to a deal.
He's going to hold his hands up.
There's some-
Listen, I've
Man,
done my
can
best.
you imagine
He's not. He's
being
going to
an individual player having to put up with this "get out, we don't want you" thing? I mean, he must have the mental strength of God knows what.
Tam and I were like that, by the way. He said, do you think Ruffy will eventually say, look, that's me, I'm Oscar? I said, no, Ruffy's going down with the Titanic. He's in there with the guy with the violin and the
No,
drums. He's waiting.
could you put yourself in his place
I can.
when he goes away for football? When he goes away for football and he goes,
I'll be sitting tight until I got the bullet.
Yeah, of course he will. He will. But by the way,
Why would you through all that abuse
Yeah.
not to get paid up?
yeah, but there can be negotiations before you get sacked. When you get called in and they say, look, we're not happy the way things are going, thinking about paying you up. What's it going to cost again?
Well, he doesn't do that conversation. That's his agent.
Well, his agent then.
He'll be basically
But
told.
there
by
comes
the
to
way-
a stage that is going to happen if
Well, that-
it continues the way it is now.
Well, this is what we're saying, and that stage happens to be at the weekend. If he doesn't win against Livingston,
We've been saying that.
No,
We've
but-
been saying that if he doesn't beat Hibs, if he doesn't beat this team, if he doesn't beat that team, how long can you continue trying to manage a team
Well,
with that hanging over your nut?
well, because I think because of the logical aspect of this is we have said over a period of time in the last 4 or 5 weeks, he needs to be given time to build his own side. Now, he's got to balance that against the expectation of a Rangers support who want the team to win the league. They thought he wasn't their first choice. They definitely don't like him. They didn't want him. He goes in, he has to try and transform a team of losers and a team of people who were... It was mutiny in the Bounty. Igaman doesn't want to go on. Fallout between Raskin and players or the manager, still to be clarified. But the point is this. He's had all sorts of problems to deal with. But the biggest problem is the fans didn't fancy him to start with. They want him to win the league. He's got draw after draw after draw, and we're not even out of September, and they're 9 points behind their greatest rivals and Hearts as well. So the reason why we're now saying it's breaking point is they got a cup win over Hibs. They've lost that game with 10 men. He's got to cut him some slack. But if you go 12 points behind, you know, Andrew Kavanagh is looking at it right now. He's already got a list. He's
Yeah,
already
I
got a
know.
list of managers, and he's saying, right, if I have to sack this man on Sunday night or Monday morning, get on the phone. If they're not already on the phone.
But is he also saying if he beats Livingston, he gets more time?
Absolutely, yes.
And every time he wins a game, he gets more time. And
Yeah.
he gets more. But then when he has a defeat, it's get out. There must be a defining time of when you say, look, this guy's either getting time or he's not getting time.
Well, he's not getting time when they go 12 and 15 points behind two teams, roughly, where he's got a budget that is way beyond what Hearts have got. Way beyond.
I get that, but I mean, what? Well, the owners need to come out and tell everybody what they're thinking.
No, they don't. They just
Well,
need to
they-
sit in. What are you with
They're
owners?
sitting in.
When's the last owner who came out
Oh.
and said anything? You were as tight as a drum when you were on the Partick Thistle board. We never knew whether you were on it or not. You were kept that
Not
quiet.
true at all. We were up
Service in
front.
there. Yeah, wasn't it?
Up front.
Sam, it's quite simple. If he wins against Livingston, you can't sack him.
No, he needs to keep winning. But
But I mean, it's getting monotonous.
you're looking at the game.
Every time he wins a game, it's okay.
it's
He
only
loses a
getting-
game, he's out.
it's
He
only
wins a game, he's okay.
No, he's
He
got a
loses a
job.
game, he's
He's
out.
got a job. The boy's got a job. He's a human being. It's not monotonous for him.
It's time when some of the supporters need to back off and give him time.
Well,
I mean, it's only how many games into the
that's not going
season.
to happen.
not gonna happen,
This is
Ruffy.
the problem. I think Robert has just come up with something which I think every Rangers fan has mentioned, which is Martin's style of play is worrying. If you are in a situation where you can look and you say they're unlucky or mitigating circumstances, then you actually start saying to yourself, okay, we'll cut on some slack. But the demands and the expectations of this support is, and of course their eyes, they don't deceive them, their eyes.
Peter, can you see a clear style of play with Russell Martin's Rangers? Can you see, by the way, I can see what he's trying to do there. I can see he's not getting the results now, but I can see what he's trying to do. That's the problem. Robert's right. And Ange Postecoglou came in at Celtic, lost the first couple of games, but you could see what he was trying to do. And if he had better players, he would start to do it better. And I think with Rangers, they've spent all their money, they've got their squad in, and now's the time to judge Russell Martin. And you're looking at that team going, what is he trying to do? Are they trying to, the high press, or the low block, or the what is it they're trying to do? And you can't see it with Russell Martin, and that's the worrying thing for a Rangers supporter at the minute.
Yeah, okay. Livingston against Rangers on the Sunday. This is where it fits into the fixtures over Saturday and Sunday. And our reporters will be out, keeping you up to date, talking to the fans, getting post-match reaction as well from the manager and the players. Celtic Hibs, Dundee United against Kilmarnock, Hearts, Falkirk, St Mirren, Dundee, Motherwell against Aberdeen, which we're going to get on to very shortly, and Livingston against Rangers on this Sunday. Will he be the Rangers manager on the Monday morning? Give us your thoughts on it ahead of that game. Let us know, because he needs going to Livingston like a hole in the head with that pitch, Ruffy.
Yeah, I mean, if you hear any of the teams that go there, that's the first thing they've got to get their head round. Is better. There's no doubt about that. I think they spent a wee bit of money trying to upgrade it. It looks a lot better, but it's still, particularly AstroTurf, and players don't like playing on that. It's going to be a difficult one. It's going to be a battle more than anything else, and the Rangers players have to show that they are in for a battle.
Yeah. Last time Hibs won at Celtic Park. Going to have a wee go?
2010, Danny Galbraith,
Yeah.
ex-teammate of mine at Limerick FC, and if Hibs keep defending the way they're defending, Peter, it's going to be another 10 year. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, because I watched Hibs at the weekend, midweek against Falkirk, and they could have scored 4 or 5 in the first half. But second half, Falkirk probably could and should have won the game, and I think he's got to bring Grant Hanley back in. I thought he brings Grant Hanley back in tomorrow, and tries to play tighter, because Hibs are conceding goals at an alarming rate, and they're doing it at really, really poor times in the game, Peter, just before half time, just after half time. There's a real mental block at the minute with Hibs.
This is what David Gray had to say in the conceding of these goals.
What I've tried to say to the players, and reassure the players, is what I don't want anybody thinking is they're looking at the clock at all and worrying about, do I do anything different? If we be successful for 39 minutes, and I'm going to do something in 39 minutes, am I going to do anything different on the 40th? And we could lose a goal tomorrow, an unstoppable strike, in the 44th minute, people are talking about the timing of the goal again. Now, some of the goals we've been losing and the timing of them, the timing's one thing, but I would be really disappointed if we both were losing anyway. So, and as a group, we're disappointed in these moments. So that's the biggest bit.
Yeah.
You mentioned that in your column,
Yeah.
the Times.
Did you read it?
Yeah. Can I ask
It's
you
as
this?
if somebody reads it.
Would you, his wife and his family, would you drop Rocky Bashiri?
Possibly tomorrow, Peter. I know these are not big fans of him. I thought obviously the second half of last season done really well. Started the season well.
Yeah.
Last couple of games he's been back to the old Rocky Bashiri. He's been making mistakes, and switching off at crucial times in the game. Possibility that he takes him out of the team and brings Hanley in tomorrow.
As far as Celtic are concerned, well, they're off the back of that good point in Belgrade, Ruffy, against Red Star.
I think the second half was a lot better than the first half, obviously. They controlled the game. Players got a wee bit of confidence after they got the goal. And going away from home, I think you would come back. It would be a trip you would come back relatively happy.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on Maeda?
Well, there seems to be something, doesn't there, behind the scenes, He's definitely not the player he was last year before this transfer carry-on went on. I mean, for him to have cleaned out his stuff at Lennoxtown, and that must have been a sorry time for him when they said, no, you're not going. And it depends on an individual how you deal. I mean, people don't realise that is an absolute life changer, that move, and you've got to get your head around it. You've got to go to your family and say, look, unpack their bags and all that carry on. So he might be the kind of person that's going to take a while to get his head around it and get his head down. There's no doubt about it. Footballing wise, he's got it. But like every football, Tam will tell you, sometimes footballers go through that kind of thing after a transfer disappointment for a couple of months.
Yeah. Did it take you a couple of months after the Man City move fell through, Ruffy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 months.
Same with the Rochester Rhinos moving, that came up.
Yeah.
Fruition.
Yeah, when we do PLZ Soccer USA, that'll probably resonate with a lot of people, Tim. The one thing that Brendan Rodgers had to say on Daizen Maeda, which probably echoes what Ruffy was talking about there, you can't underestimate how difficult it's been for him. This is a guy who's given absolutely everything for this football club. Even sometimes when you want to give your best, there's a subconscious thing that can hold you back. What's important is you don't get caught up in this sort of mentality of it's not fair, because that's a very dangerous territory. You have to look forward, do it for your teammates, do it for your family, do it for your supporters, and eventually you get, your confidence back.
Yeah, I
That
would agree
in
with that.
itself
Yeah,
is-
and that again is the individual, up to the individual. I would like to think that he has obviously had some kind of agreement with the club that if a bid comes in and it suits us and it suits you, we are duty bound to honour that deal, because the boys coming from Japan obviously were given that in their makeup. I would like to think that Brendan Rodgers or whoever has put an arm around him and said, look, it's not happened this time. The January window will come, and if the same circumstances are there for you and for us, he's got to honour whatever he's told him.
Well, you would think so, but that has happened before, and certain players were left very, very angry. Also in Brendan Rodgers' first time round, at Celtic. So whether he gets a January move or not, interestingly enough,
We won't if he keeps playing the way he's playing, Peter.
well, on the European football
flip
show,
side of it.
Cara Henderson's European football show, she was talking to Chris Commons today. You can see it on our YouTube channel. And Chris Commons says, no, you know, he's here, he's got a contract, you've got to keep building the team around him. He'll come good again.
Yeah, but I don't think it'll be as a 9, Peter. I think I would play him wide right. I'd take Yang out of the team and play Maida on the right, Tinekti on the left, and Nacho through the middle. I think that's, you know, it's a chance for him to get his confidence back and running at people. And I think being a wide player and being a striker is two totally different things. I think when you're that main number 9, the pressure's on you to score goals all the time. As a wide player, you can chip in now and again, and I think it would maybe help him. But I don't think he's went in a huff. But I agree with Ruffy. I just think that the massive disappointment of getting a life-changing move. I think the players that come over from Japan are not on a lot of money. I think that was a, you know, Ange Postecoglou had that market down to a T. He was bringing players in, selling them on. He sold probably to them. You know, you come in 4, 5, 6 grand a week and you get offered 20 grand a week in England, we'll let you go. And there's some difference between that financially.
I wonder if it'll affect the price when they eventually do sell him, although Flying Haggis on our YouTube channel, I think, has put a good point, which I'm certainly embracing, but I'm not too sure you are. He says, I can't get my head around that mentality. I've really struggled at times in my life, working hard for rubbish wages. He's had a month to get it together. 3 months, for God's sake, get the heat down.
Yeah, I would appreciate a supporter thinking like that. But again, you've got to look at the other side. He's a human being like everybody else. He has moments that things aren't going. But I know he's earning a lot of money. But apart from that, there's things in your life don't obviously run the way that you want it to run, and the individual has to deal with it. You know, I get what he's saying, but sometimes it's different away from football. You're okay when you're playing football, but you're not there all the time.
Were you going to say, I get what Flying Haggis is trying to say?
No.
Because his name's Jeff, but he just doesn't want anybody to know what his
Jeff.
name is.
All right,
You know,
okay. So you put it out now, it's Jeff.
Well, his name's not Jeff, for God's
Oh, it's
sake.
not Jeff. Many names has he got?
But that's YouTube for you. What you do is you get people who are scared to obviously
Yeah, I
be caught
get that,
because they're
yeah.
going to.
No, I get you
it's
get
a
what you
platform
say.
where you can be a nutcase at times, but nevertheless.
I mean, you can earn lots of money and still not be happy. It's been
Yeah.
well. There's lots of cases of footballers who have not enjoyed themselves away from the game
Do you know,
and
you're
earning
right,
a lot
Ruffy.
of money.
I've worked at some places where I've earned a lot of money and I've not been happy. But I've thought, you know what? I'm just going to put up with it. I'm going to give my best every day and I'm going to put up with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when you've been in the game long enough, he's not going to drop tools. He's not going to go out and not try. It's just not happening for him. That's all.
Okay. Tam, have you ever been at a club where you felt wronged and the edge has gone off you? You just thought, it's not there, your heart's not in it? Don't think it doesn't happen, it does.
Probably Dundee when I was at Dundee.
Yeah.
And obviously Alex in now. I think it was just before Alex came in. Alec Ray.
Yeah.
And Dundee won the championship and had an opportunity to go to St Johnstone, who won the Premier League at the time, and it got blocked at the last minute. And that pissed me off a bit because I was getting a chance to go back into the Premier League.
Yeah. I
And-
can
and
sense
it
a wee
get-
bit
and
of
it get
tension in the studio the other day there. It was
Did you blame Alec personally?
No, I think Alec was saying, yeah, you can go, but it was other influences.
Yeah.
But no, I wasn't too happy with that, and that's obviously not on the same scale as Maida, but you know, there's times where you want to move, you want to go, and it gets blocked for whatever reason, and it can affect you as a player.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's all okay with you now with him because he's in every Monday.
Aye,
That's
it's
why
fine,
all this
aye, aye.
tension, yeah.
No,
I
it's fine.
sense that. Ruffy, have you ever been
Won't get
sitting next to somebody, apart from myself, obviously, that you think, you know, I'm not a big fan?
Yeah, there's been a couple of occasions, aye.
Name them. Highly unlikely.
Jim Leighton?
No, Jim's a nice guy.
Jim Leighton?
Jim's a good lad.
Jim's a good
Yeah,
lad.
Jim was a good lad. Which brings me next. You're asking the wrong guy to show a spine on this. Anyway, listen, just on that, the two games, I forgot to get your predictions on it. Raphael Livingston against Rangers,
2-0 Rangers.
1-1.
I'm going to go for an upset here. I'm going to go for Rangers to win 2-1.
You're a smart arse, you really are, by the way. They'll steam in on you, by the way. You'll get battered for that. Listen, I want to thank everybody for supporting us as well. The figures have been absolutely fantastic this month. And as ever, legitimate people who are coming on board, young and old, backing us right across all our social media and our YouTube channel and PLZ Premium as well. So big thanks to you all for showing your support. You get opinion, maybe get a bit of humour when Ruffy can be bothered, and you'll also get a chance to win some fabulous prizes too. So we're absolutely delighted that you showed us your support, and you will obviously get opinion from professionals, former players, managers. We try and bring as much into the show as we possibly can. Our reporters are out giving you as many interviews as they possibly can around your favourite team. So with that in mind, Motherwell against Aberdeen is our next port of call, and it has to be, because if there's the great sack race, it's between Russell Martin and Jimmy Tilleen. Who dips first?
Yeah, it's an enormous game for Aberdeen. Obviously losing in the cup last week at Pittodrie at home to Motherwell. Motherwell in flying form, never an easy place to go. Aberdeen need to win that, Peter, for me. I think he's got no excuses now. A real bad run at the tail end of last season. Started this season poorly, not scored a goal in the league, bottom in the league. With the money that Aberdeen have spent, and the fan base, the size of the club, I think they need to start climbing the table, and it needs to start tomorrow.
Our reporter Kerry Pollock and Kobe Henderson have been following both camps.
This Saturday, Motherwell take on Aberdeen here at Fir Park just 7 days after sending the Dons out of the Premier Sports Cup. However, well boss Jens Berthel Askew knows better than to underestimate Jimmy Tilleen's goal-shy outfit.
So it's obviously a team that's under a little bit of pressure, but a team that's extremely desperate can also be really difficult to play. We have to be really mindful that we don't give them a sniff of there's something to go for, give them any easy chances or make it too easy for them to defend. So we have to step up.
Our reporter Kobe Henderson has been speaking to the Aberdeen boss this week. Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, thanks, Carrie. Jimmy Tilleen spoke to the media just moments ago. It's been a terrible start to the season for Aberdeen. Just 1 point on the board and still no league goals scored. It's a capable Aberdeen team on paper. You have to admit there's a lot of talented players in the squad. However, they've just not been playing as a team. But Jimmy Tilleen believes his side are united.
But you have to be a collective unit to win games. That's what I'm talking about, this last 15% that we need to add now. And I think there was a really reality check for us of these tight games to play now. And we are close to get points, but we don't. And then the reason why, that's what I have to check on. And then I think everybody agrees. So everybody is united.
Well, listen, they may be united, but they'll be divided if they don't get the win against Motherwell, because I think Motherwell's breaking point, I think that is the end. I think they'll cut the cord then.
I think he needs to get something. Even a draw would give him a wee bit more time. A defeat would just add the pressure, there's no doubt. And the supporters, again, like the Rangers supporters, will start voting with their feet, not turning up at the game. So it'll be interesting to see many Aberdeen supporters make that trip for that game. But he needs to get something. He needs to get a wee break. I'm thinking of the games, obviously, Livingston getting a player sent off. I think last week they were hitting the bar and balls cleared off the line. He's just going through a stage where they're not winning games. And that needs to change, obviously, very quickly.
Kobe's been out and about. He's been getting the thoughts of some Aberdeen fans on his future.
On a pragmatic level, we've had some serious signings over the summer. You look at Armstrong, Carlson, Celtic fans, for example, would have bit your hand off to sign these types of players. And no offence to other managers in Scotland, but they didn't sign for any old chump. They signed for Jimmy Tilleen because they know what he's capable of, his style of play.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about the start to the season, but I think there's only been 23 points since November. Is the argument to maybe say this isn't just a blip and this is maybe a longer run? Obviously there was this Scottish Cup in there as well, and it did pick up slightly towards the end of last season as well.
Look, I think Jimmy Tilleen's earned the right to stay, as I've said. I think, does he maybe need to look at his formation, his style of play, change things up a bit? Yes, I would think so. I think teams have maybe figured out what his plans are, what his tactics are. He could probably have a look at that, but look, I back him 100% and he's earned the right to turn this around.
Trust Kobe to get somebody with a university degree who is actually speaking fluently in a lot of sense. A lot of Aberdeen fans may not agree with that gentleman who put across a very, very fair and balanced point on it. I think they're at breaking point.
Yeah, I think they're at breaking point as well. I think obviously the Scottish Cup win, you know, is giving them large amounts of credit. You know, a lot of supporters will never forget that day if they were at the game. But obviously the game moves on, and you start not winning games, you're just losing. These supporters can turn very, very quickly, and I think Aberdeen are at that stage just now. They need to start winning games.
Yeah, they're also looking for a new director of football. Surely they can't wait for one before they sack the manager, because I think this is at that point where you're starting to say to yourself, really, Aberdeen, bottom of the table, wondering whether they're even going to get into the top 6?
Yeah, and I think that obviously the targets at the start of the season for Aberdeen would be top 3 or top 4 European football, you know, and doing well in the cups. They're bottom of the league, they're out the League Cup, you know, so it's not been a great start at all. And as I said before, I've said many times in the show, Peter, there's not been an Aberdeen manager more backed financially than Jimmy Tilleen. You know, the squad, he signed 3 international players in the break. You know, Carlson, Nisbet, Armstrong, they're fantastic footballers. And for them to be bottom of the league and not scored a goal is nowhere near good enough. So I think I agree with Ruffy. I think Aberdeen need to get something out of the game tomorrow, or I can see the chop coming for Jimmy.
Yeah. Adam has said they've spent $4 million in the window. He's had mad investment for a non-Old Firm manager. Nearly a year of horrid results. Can't score a goal, never mind a win this season. He reckons the clock is ticking. And I am not going to suggest who they should have as their manager. I suggested to them early on, I got it in the neck, and I'll tell you, my tweet is coming shortly.
It's saved in drafts for a bit.
Yep. It's
A
in
year and
there.
a half.
It's in there for a year and a half, and there are not too many wins in that year and a half, I have to tell you. So Jimmy Tilleen has not turned out to be the Messiah. I don't think he's motivating the squad. I think some of them have absolutely switched off. I don't think they are playing to his instruction anymore. I think some of those players have just looked and thought to themselves, it's not working, he's not doing it for us. And I have said, and I'll throw this in, and I think MCG is on the right track here, because if you're looking for a manager, and I'm going to put my neck out again on this, Ruffy, if you're looking for a manager now, you say, right, who gets the Scottish Premiership? Who gets what could potentially be a job where you have to come in and get them galvanised back at it?
You think that is, Ruffy?
Stephen Robinson.
You're thinking Russell Martin, wouldn't you?
No, I think you're not far away from that, but we all thought when the Hearts job come up, he'd be a perfect candidate for that. He never got it. Obviously Derek McInnes got it, so his name gets mentioned at nearly every big job, but nobody seems to be prepared to take a chance on him. I don't think it'd be a chance. I think the way he prepares his team, the way he talks after the games, the way he actually acts during the games, he shows the fans that what it really means to him. I think that's one of Jimmy Tilleen's failures. He's not very... Is a motive a good word?
He's not very motivational.
Aye, at the side of the park. And sometimes when you see a manager like that, you go, well, does he really care? Does he really...
When you see more passion on the side.
Aye, but that's not to say they're not good managers, but I like to see a manager at the side. You know, I like to see like Martin O'Neill charging up and down the park, and you know, Big Alec, you know, losing the nut and all that. He doesn't seem to lose the nut. You know, so I don't know, like he'd be in the dressing room or after the game.
Okay, let's look at the flip side of it. If you want to try and build momentum and get a result, Fir Park's the last place you want to go right now, because they're playing good football. Have I gone too early in my enthusiasm for the football that Motherwell are playing, Tam?
No, you haven't, and they're unbeaten this season. You know, I'm just looking at your wee table there. They're unbeaten. I know there's a ton of draws in there. I think there was 5 or 6 in the drop, but you know, I would think Motherwell would really fancy their chances. You know, Regan Charles-Cook's a great signing, scored the winner last week. They've got some quality players, Motherwell now. They've got a manager, Stephen Welsh, has come in. It's a great signing for them. You know, and they're pretty tight at the back. So I'd fancy Motherwell to win this, and I think that could be the death knell for Jimmy Tilleen at Aberdeen. But you know, Motherwell have been the surprise package of the season for me so far.
He's still adamant that he thinks that they're going to get better. The more he works with them, the more they start to embrace his message, and of course the fact that, like every manager, you get players in who have to buy into the system. But boy, do they look as if they're buying into it.
Yeah, but as Tam said, they've picked 3 quality players who you would think would make them better in the long run. I think they've got a quality goalkeeper, so that's nearly there. But you've got to. But if he believes that he's going to change it, he's got to make the players believe it as well, because it's on the park that it counts. And just now they don't look as if, when it's nothing each or 1 each, whatever, they don't believe that they can go on and win the game. But a wee turn of fate, a wee bit of luck, you never know. So I'm going to go for 1 each.
1 each?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to go 2-1 Motherwell.
I'm going to go 2-0 Motherwell.
Yeah, no goals for Aberdeen again?
Nope.
Yeah, okay, even with your old mate Kevin Nisbet there?
No, I think 2-0 Motherwell.
Okay, I'm standing by it, and quite frosty in his look towards me there. Also, Motherwell had 2 shots at Pittodrie. What Motherwell were you watching? Well, if you watch their overall football, when you go to a game for 90 minutes, they are good to watch. Robert says, Peter, I thought you might have suggested Neil Lennon for the for the Aberdeen job. Let's not rule it out right now. But from Motherwell against Aberdeen, give us your thoughts. Do you think he's going to get longer? If he loses to Motherwell, does Jimmy Tilleen still survive that? It's the same situation as Russell Martin. Give us your opinion on that. We want to engage with you. We'll read out some of your messages as well and see where we go with it. And we're more than happy to air your opinions on this one. Thanks to Paul, that says 1-0 Motherwell. Dundee United against Kilmarnock. Jim Goodwin is actually anticipating something that I want to get your thoughts on, guys, because the Dundee United boss reckons they're in for a physical battle.
They'll throw up a completely different challenge. Kilmarnock are, one of the more direct teams in the league. They've got 2 big, tall number 9s, physical players at the top end of the pitch. It'll probably be a bit more of a dogfight than what tonight was, in terms of Aberdeen trying to build from the back and play through the different sections. So, yeah, that's what this Premiership throws up. Week to week, you've got to prepare yourselves properly for a different challenge game after game. But tonight will give us confidence. The boys are really looking forward to Saturday already.
Third in the table, 2 wins, 2 draws, 1 defeat. I thought they played well in Europe. They're good to watch. They've got a star man for me, who I think is one of the best midfielders at the moment on the evidence of what I'm watching in Kamara. He just looks the real deal, Ruffy. And again, I thought they cruised it against Aberdeen.
Yeah, they certainly did. They're the very opposite for Aberdeen. They look like a team who are confident and believe in a lot of the players they've brought in. There's a lot of match winners in there. They're winning games. You can see the fans are right behind them, which is great. You're going onto the park and the fans are cheering for you. They want you to win, which is a head start as well. But you're right, they've got 2 or 3 players in there who have adapted to the Scottish style of football. I particularly like that young boy they got for Liverpool.
Lucas Stevenson.
Stevenson, I think he's got something special. He's going places in the game, and that kind of player who's coming in, he knows he's on loan, he knows he's got to impress his own team. So Dundee United are getting the benefit of it.
I'm looking at the boy Kamara. He's 6'1", 28 years of age, and they got him on a free. Tam, in the middle of the park, he just moves about there as if he's 5'6". At times, controlling it, driving, hustling, and spreading the play.
Yeah, very, very good signing, Peter. And I think that Dundee United have made a lot of them this summer. I think Sarpsborg up front has been excellent as well. So listen, they've obviously went down a different market from most clubs. They've went abroad. Dolchek as well, Peter, who I think's had five goals or assists in the first 5 games. So yeah, they've went down a different route. They've went abroad for their shopping, and they've signed a lot of very, very good players. And you've got to give Jim Goodwin and Lee Sharp credit for bringing them all and gelling them all together, because it can't be easy bringing people from all over the place in Europe or or Africa, and they're all coming in and done a really, really good job. So I would fancy Dundee United strong in this game. I think they'll have too much for Kilmarnock at home.
Yeah, you see that, Ruffy? Excuse me, when he's talking, he's throwing in stats right, left and centre, that kind of a thing. You've refrained from that over the 13 years. You don't want to kind of muddy the waters.
Yeah, but it's okay throwing out stats, but you've got to back them up.
So Ruffy does.
You've got to...
It was one Ruffy said, and then he just said, "Is it?" And he went, "No, it's not."
No. My favourite is the day they're on STV. we're on a Saturday programme which is all stats, and he gave me about 4 or 5 before the commercial break. And I looked and I thought, wow, I've been with him now maybe 4 or 5 years and he's never offered a stat in his life. And I thought 4 or 5 in the one part of the programme. And up came the commercial break and Ruffy Sam went to the toilet. He went to the toilet and I checked all of his stats and it was all codswallop. It was a complete made up pile of nonsense. So
You try to make yourself look clever.
No, I'm just saying.
McAvenny and Gordon Smith were on the show, by the way.
You hear them, and I'm not just having a go at BBC, because they're very.
Steady now,
I'm saying
steady,
they're
you're-
very good, very thorough in everything they do. But an example, game starts when they say, "Oh, this is going to be quite a good game today." Kilmarnock having to beat Dundee United for 13 years, so it's a Dundee United win for me. Kilmarnock won 1-0.
Yeah.
You can have all the stats in the world. It doesn't mean you're right.
And that's our headline for today's show. Ruffy takes swipe at the major broadcaster. It's as simple as that. Once you hear it, you know it's there.
Just
and you
because he's all the one is just because you've got all the stats doesn't mean you're right. Is that not the point of a stat, Ruffy? No, mean you're right.
No, but you can throw them out there and then be so outrageous.
Absolutely.
I mean, you've already done 2 or 3 this morning.
Yeah. What about Dundee United Kilmarnock, Ruffy? What do you
Done
think?
3-0.
3-0?
Yes.
Dundee
Really
United.
impressed with Dundee United.
I'm going to Tannadice. I'm going up there because obviously
You got
the ban still
something.
continues. We're heading into 3 years. I wonder if we'll get back in when Brendan leaves, or will it just be the full 3 years and then on to the next?
You need to sack the board and all. You need the lot out.
Well, I made it. I made the banner.
Ban for another 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Dundee United 2-0.
3-0. Fancy our Dundee United home win strongly.
Yeah.
Comfortable, yes.
Do you like the big boy Dackers I've been telling you about for Kelly?
Okay.
He's a big tall boy, but
Aye,
what a big
come on.
touch.
The best player they've got is the boy Watson, the middle of the park young boy.
David.
I think he's excellent.
Yeah.
And I seen him during the week there, Rangers and Hearts linked to him already. Derek's obviously worked with him at Kilmarnock, so I think that they'll struggle to hold on to him this summer. I think he's excellent.
Yeah. Thank you to people who are watching on the live. Obviously, we do it at 4 o'clock because we're getting it in the neck, Ruffy. Some people like to watch it live so they can cane us. But there are people who watch it at their own leisure, and that is the majority of people who just pick it up once the kids have gone to bed, or the kids watch it when the parents are out. That's, I hope. So we're delighted that you're with us. Hearts against Falkirk. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Equal on points with Celtic, 4 wins and a draw in the last 5 games. Derek McInnes said people are dying for Hearts to lose a game. I mean, is there really a kind of this vitriolic campaign of not liking Hearts? I don't see it. Yeah, well, apart from you.
I think Hibs supporters don't like to see their biggest rivals. you know.
But you're supposed to be a balanced pundit.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I don't know what teams he's having, or who's having a go at. What other teams is it? Is it Kilmarnock? Is it Murn? Or
Rangers?
Probably. Rangers, yeah. Oh, well, that's a
Who's
fear
going to
that.
be in their bonnet about them? Because he's doing well.
No, I think he thinks people are probably going to be in their bonnet because everybody's saying they're going to split the old firm. You know, a lot of people are saying this could be the year, and obviously that's what he's saying. Well, a lot of people don't want us to do well because we'll end up second or first.
Well, I think we'll be second.
Well, that's your opinion.
What about you? What did you
No,
have?
I had Rangers second.
And who did you have third?
Hibs.
Funny that, eh? where was your
I did the same.
Hibs, third?
I'd have third as well, but I looked at Celtic during the week there, and I looked at Rangers last night, and I think if you're a Hearts fan, you're thinking, come on, just put a consistent run together. It's definitely there for the taking. I think Celtic win the league, but in terms of finishing second, will Hearts ever get a better opportunity than this season with this Rangers team to finish second? I don't think so.
But they haven't really, have they, Hearts? They've not set the heather on fire.
Yeah, but they've got an opportunity if they beat Falkirk at home to go 12 points ahead.
I think they will beat Falkirk.
They've got a good bench as well, Ruffy.
Yeah, and that's always good, you know, to look at the bench and bring game changers onto the park. And you've seen Brendan Rodgers doing it. I say it every week. 60 minutes, just watch the clock, and 2 or 3 come on. You know, it doesn't matter what the score is; they come on. And if you've got that kind of stuff on the bench, it's great. And Hearts have never had that.
My only problem with it, Tam, is Derek McInnes has been in this movie before. Never had he a better chance than to win the league in the Ronnie Dyler years at Celtic, where he was hopeless, and because of the strength of the squad, they just got themselves over the line. but he's been there before. He's had a collapse before. This time with Hearts, I think there's a structure in place to back him up that might even strengthen again in January if he can keep this juggernaut going.
Yeah, I think with the cash that Tony Bloom's got behind them, I think if Hearts are in the mix to split the old firm, I think they will spend big in January. I think that they will go and strengthen and try and do that. With an opportunity to go into Champions League qualifiers. So, no, I do think that this is a real opportunity for Hearts this season. These are the games they've got to win.
See if Hearts were neck and neck with Celtic in January and I was a Hearts fan, I'd be on the phone to James Anderson saying, look, I know Tony's got a fair bit of cash. Is there any chance you could give us 4 or 5 million before you pop your clogs, whether that be in the next 20, 30 years, but any chance of just giving us 4 or 5 million, which will be like a drop in the ocean, let's have a go.
Well, possibly. But let's not hope anyone dies anytime soon.
No, I said 20 to 30 years.
Right.
You've got plenty of time. But if you had a few millions, lots of millions, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
You've got hundreds of millions.
If I won the lot, if I won the lottery, 100 million,
Uh-huh.
I'd buy Partick Thistle and I'd make them a force.
But you wouldn't be able to turn Partick Thistle with 100 million.
I'd make a good shot at it.
Yeah. Would you buy a lot of homegrown players?
I'd leave that to my director of football.
Yeah, sure you would. Brilliant. Would you give anything to me and Tam because we've been with you in the trenches?
I'd put you on the board.
Oh,
Because I think you could, in your own sort of a sphere, I think you could do.
Just out of curiosity,
because we need a painter.
That's exactly what I was just about to ask you. What is he
Because
bringing?
his painting.
What's he bringing to it? Right, okay. Listen, I've ran into a couple of Falkirk fans this week, and boy, they're not happy with me. They just let me have it and said, listen, you've got us relegated. And I actually had to stand my ground and say, I love John McGlynn. I think he's a great coach. I love the way they play football, Tam, but I can't see anything other than you're going back down. Am I wrong?
I hope you're wrong.
Yeah.
I hope for football's sake you're wrong. Because you're right, Falkirk do play the right way. They're open, expansive. I thought they were brilliant the other night in second half against Hibs. You know, they've got a real buzz about the club at the minute. You know, full houses at home. You know, John McGlynn's brought them up through the leagues. Players have come up through the leagues. You know, they're hungry to do well. I really, really hope Falkirk stay up. But my fear would be in the winter months, going away from home, can they still play that way? And if they got the...
Well, my answer is yes, they did it in the Championship.
That's the Championship.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the only thing that I think is a drawback.
So I hope Falkirk do stay up, but I think it's about them and Dundee to see who goes down. I think that's your bottom two for me.
Yeah. Thanks to Paul Brady, who's just sent us a wee message saying, Ruffy, you're going to need a lot more than 100 million. So there you are. Quite a lot of people. And Barry says, I never do the Euro Millions after that Partick fan won it. What's the chances of another Partick Thistle fan winning the Euro Millions? It ain't going to happen. Barry, you're so right. It would be absolutely fantastic if it did. Hearts against Falkirk. I am going 3-1 Hearts.
I'm going to go 2-0 Hearts.
2-1 Hearts.
St Mirren against Dundee, 5th, 1 win, 3 draws, 1 defeat, and they're in the semi-finals of the Premier Sports Cup.
St Mirren are my team of the year this year.
Is that right? Already? Just out of September?
Yeah, they've just come out. I think I like everything they do. I like the style of play. I like the manager's attitude towards every game that he plays. The place is buzzing, and it's good for a team like St Mirren to have this kind of success. They've been in the sort of a not in the last 4 or 5 years, but if you go way back, you know, you'll remember the players that they had, the wee Richardsons and
what a team!
Fantastic team.
Yeah, Billy Stark,
and all them, Scallion.
Well, they're gone.
Yeah, all there. Scanlon, yeah.
Mick
Victor, yeah.
Scanlon was a great player.
Mm-hmm.
I would love, if you were talking about a home-based player that I'd love to interview that had never done anything, Ian Scanlon. Do you remember Ian Scanlon?
Well before my time.
Wee Weir.
Peter Weir, great.
Peter Weir.
Yeah, absolutely. They're against the Dundee side. Am I, Ruffy, what you make? I love Stephen Presley. I think he's a really decent guy. I like him a lot. I've known him for such a long time, and he's a good lad. But they got a good win against Livingston.
They got a fortunate win with the penalty in the last minute.
For God's sake.
I know, but they lost 2 bad goals.
Yeah.
But no, I think
Dundee.
Livingston and Falkirk and Dundee will be fighting it out for the season. But that'll be encouraging, that win. it remains to be seen whether it makes a difference to the team, because Stephen's been saying, look, we just need a win to get confidence within the camp. So we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Prediction?
2-1 St Mirren.
Yeah.
3-1 St Mirren.
I'm going to go 2-1 St Mirren against Dundee. Thanks to so many of you for giving us your opinion. It's always good to read out as many of them as we possibly can. Don't forget, you don't catch it live. You can catch it by downloading the podcast, which so many people are doing. They're visiting the website. They are covering all of our social media. So thank you for your support. The YouTube channel, if you hit the subscribe button, you can stick with us and join the football family. If you hit PLZ Premium, your name will get in the hat. You and your partner could be off to the Champions League final in Budapest in the Puskas Arena. Have you seen the Puskas Arena, Rafi?
No, never played in that one.
It is brand new, that's why. It's absolutely fantastic. What a stadium. Flights, accommodation, 2 tickets. Who would you take? Would you take Maggie or would you take your best mate, Ronnie, that you were at the party?
Maggie is my best mate.
Eh?
Maggie is my best mate.
Oh my God!
Oh my God! You had me.
Stop the show.
You had me at hello.
Shut up, Ruffy.
Oh, Ruffy.
No, I would take
Ronnie,
I'd
would
take
you?
no.
No?
No after last week. He's tied to the cover. I took Ronnie, my pal, who's a Rangers supporter, to the Celtic Thistle game.
Yeah.
And the cameras caught him in the crowd. His mates are getting him. His life is ruined.
But he got a free meal out of it. What's he moaning about? Yeah, absolutely. Sam, all set for a big week. Edinburgh Derby's coming up as well. We're going to be talking about that after the weekend. There could be a situation. Do you believe on Monday when you're on the show with Alec Ray and Ruffy and myself, do you believe that we will have a situation where there's 1 or 2 clubs looking for a new manager?
Yeah, I think there'll definitely be one. Possibly even 2, but yeah, it's a big weekend for Aberdeen and Rangers, to be honest with you, and a big weekend for Hibs as well. You know, Hibs are, not a great start to the season, and they're going to Celtic. Then they've got Hearts away next week, so they need to start picking up points in the league as well.
Yeah, 2 good points to finish. Kenny, who's in LA, is an Aberdeen fan. He says Motherwell 1, Aberdeen 2. A last moment of hope from Kenny there. And we also get a guy who says, I thought Ruffy was going to take Zico with him. You just never know. The 2 of them are constantly in contact with each other, talking about that.
Still sweet him,
game.
Ruffy?
Yeah.
Never want to see him again.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you never saw him the first time either.
Or the second.
Yeah, exactly. Can I just say to you that if you want analysis of the British teams in the Europa League this week, then join Cara Henderson on the European Football Show on YouTube. It's dropped today. You can have a look. She's in discussion with Chris Commons, who's giving us his opinion on all of the football. Some interesting shouts from Chris Commons on Russell Martin and, of course, Daisen Maeda. Well worth watching on our YouTube channel now. And interestingly enough, I mentioned the Edinburgh Derby because Kerry Pollock will have some very special guests in the countdown to the Edinburgh Derby next week, so it'll be well worth catching up with Kerry as well. So many reporters out at the grounds. We're trying to give you unique programming, lots of it, 7 days a week. Please, if you can, hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel, and if you want to go on premium, we'd love to have you on board. Hope you have a great weekend. It's going to be great football, and it's going to be one of those weeks when you have to be in control in your house, because there's so many great games to watch, and then you'll turn to your partner, male or female, and say, but I want to watch the Ryder Cup as well. And that's when you'll know it's
Start for Europe, 3-1 up.
Yeah, exactly. That's when you know when you're in control.
What did you put in USA, Ruffy?
No, I never. But I'm glad you told me the score because I recorded it.
Yeah, that's
Thanks.
fantastic. That's great. And by the time
You still do that? That's just an old-fashioned thing,
by
isn't
the
it?
time people watch it tomorrow, the whole score could have changed. So try not to date the show. Thanks to Tam, thanks to Ruffy, from myself, Peter Martin. Subscribe to PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Thank you for listening and watching.